A very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk, a program where we highlight political issues concerning Nigeria and how we could move the country forward. A lot of developing stories and a lot of political discussions are going on, and I will be trying to bring you all of this as we'll have conversations geared towards moving Nigerians forward. You're welcome to the program. My name is Ubong Usoro and I'm your host tonight. Let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll get into a discussion tonight as we look at international politics and the place of Nigeria now that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced the names of ambassador designates who will be going to the Senate to get confirmation. What does this mean to Nigeria and its place as we look at the international committee, and what does Nigeria stand to benefit from there's new ambassadors that will be appointed or will be confirmed in no time. All right, these are discussions that some Nigerians may want to get into, and we'll have public affairs analyst and a politician will be joining us tonight to help make sense of this discussion. But let's go for this break, and when we're back, we'll get straight into the discussion. What does it mean for Nigeria now that we're about to be having a new set of ambassadors? Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Social Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festival is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time, where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
rule is in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
To Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Talk Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
All right, if you're just joining us, we're talking tonight international politics and what does Nigeria having new ambassadors, ambassadors designate? What does it mean for Nigeria as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced some names? Let's look at, if we can have on our screen now, some of the names that have been announced as ambassadors designate at this time from what we know from that particular State House press release. All right, so we have Barrister Obonaya Kalu, Reno Mokri, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Erelu Bise, Angela Adebayo, Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi, Teso Musa Magari, Yakubu Gambo, Professor Nora Ladi, Datu Tumba, Femi Pedro, Chief Femi Fani Kayode. All right, we have his name there. We have Barrister Nkechi Linda Ufochu, who is from Anambra State. All right, so that name is that particular name is there. But before we go ahead with calling on the names, just get back to the studio. I'll continue with that. But let me get to introduce our guest for tonight. Joining us via telephone as we make discussions about international politics and Tinubu announcing new ambassador designates, what it means for Nigeria, is Henry Shield. Henry is a political analyst, a political commentator, and also a politician who's joined us live tonight on the program. A very good evening to you, Mr. Shield. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, a very good evening to you. Okay, just before I bring you in on and get your thoughts, I was just showing our viewers some of the names of those who've been announced as ambassadors. Please, can I get that on the screen one more time? All right. We talked about Barrister Obonaya Kalu, Reno Mokri, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Erelu Bisi, Angela Adebayo, Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi, Teso Musa Magari, Yakubu Gambo, Professor Nola Ladi, Otumba Femi Pedro, Chief Femi Fani Kayode, Barrister Nkechi Linda Ufokuo, Fatima Florence Jimobi, Lola Akande, Grace Benz, Dr. Victor Kezikwazo, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, Ambassador Paul Oga Adikwe. Let's see the last set. Okay, so while we wait for that to be displayed on the screen so we can actually bring to you. But Mr. Henry, there's a tweet that you made that went viral on one of the social media platforms and people have been talking about it. It's one of those that have been has been designated as ambassador. Name has been penciled out by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But before we get to talk about that, what does this mean for you that we've had a tradition in Nigeria where our consulates, our embassies are manned by ambassadors and other high-ranking officials in that particular foreign affairs sector. But for more than 1 year, we didn't have ambassadors, right? President Bola Tinubu actually recalled the ones that we had, and for more than 1 year, we didn't have an ambassador. We didn't have ambassadors. What did it mean for Nigeria at the time as a political analyst and as somebody who's very interested in the growth and progress of Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible enough.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, I must say that this government hasn't gotten its priorities right. It's absolutely unbelievable, unfathomable that any country, anywhere on earth would want to exist in isolation. In a global world that today is, a country existed, or rather a government existed for going to, this is his third year, without ambassadors in all the countries. I heard, or rather I read, sometime that it was because of the paucity of funds and everything. They didn't have the money, the resources to take care of this and that. The truth of the matter is, like I said at the beginning, the Tinubu's government hasn't gotten its priorities right. Most of the international scandals we're having, especially the latest one with the US, they are as a result of the failure of the government to appoint capable and effective and efficient hands to man our embassies and high commissions around the world. Nobody has in fact, some of the occasions or events that the the ambassadors should go and represent the president and the country. You see our president flying in, or you see the vice president flying in. When we have issues and altercation, victimization of our fellow citizens abroad, we had in Ghana, we had in some other places, you now see Abike Dabiri's organization stepping in, rather than where ambassadors should ordinarily be able to step in. The foreign direct investment that we were expecting under this government has been nothing to write home about, because we do not have representatives, formal representatives of the country in the international community. I think President Tinubu failed woefully by not reviewing and treating the appointment of ambassadors as a critical component of governance. He failed woefully in that aspect, but like they say, it's never too late for a man pretending to sleep to eventually decide to wake up. I would expect that going forward, and please, I'm sure we're going to talk about the composition of the list. I will allow you to proceed with your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, right.
The president did not do well.
Right. So, but one of the things that those in the president's team, or at least the defenders of this president, have talked about is the fact that our cost of governance is quite very bulky and quite very expensive. In fact, in some quarters, some people have alleged that Nigeria runs one of the most expensive democracies in the world, with bureaucracy everywhere, bicameral legislature, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and all of that, and adding ambassadors to that list of political paraphernalia and people being compensated, at least the non-career ones, for their political patronage or whatever. That it add cost to governance, and at this time where the country was struggling to be able to meet recurrent expenditure, it wasn't a wise move. Doesn't that make sense to you, Mr. Shiu?
That's one of the most shallow, unintelligent submissions I've ever heard from anyone. How much is the salary of an ambassador? 400,000, 500,000, highest 1 million a month. I mean, whoever is saying it is the lack of funds, it's just misplaced priorities, like I said earlier on. If we could buy 150 million naira aircraft without budget for the president, 150 million naira aircraft, $150 million aircraft. $150 million aircraft for a president. That was not captured in the budget. We found the money to do that. Misplaced priorities. We built a house for the vice president at over 20 billion. Over 20 billion naira. Not like the vice president didn't have an accommodation, because the one who left there was staying in Aguda House, which is a very, very beautiful place, by the way. But because they didn't know what to do with funds, or rather maybe they had plans to help themselves or whatever, they chose to go and build a new edifice for the vice president. Over 20 billion. For a nation facing financial challenges. They went to Lagos, London Barracks, renovated it to over 4 billion naira. The president bought a yacht, 5 billion naira. The wife of the president bought vehicles. That was included in the budget at over 1.5 billion naira. My brother. I am telling you, in the last 1 year, the Tinubu's government has spent 17 trillion. 17 point we'll get the actual figure, over 17 trillion in so-called pipeline surveillance and what have you. These men just don't know how to manage public resources. That is just it. There's nothing else. They do not. Over 17 trillion. Over 17 trillion is what the president spent in 1 year.
Maybe, Mr. Shoot, could we, some persons are saying we should make distinction between the NNPCL and the president. That the NNPCL spend the money in surveillance and protection of pipelines. I guess that's the funds you're talking about, the 17 trillion.
So NNPCL is what belongs to who? Belongs to you or to me or to. Please, there will always be excuses when we want to find the excuse, right? If it rains right now as we are having this interview, I can find an excuse not to go to work, and I can also find an excuse not to stay indoors or to go out. So whoever wants to defend the recklessness, the brazenness of this administration can go ahead. It's democracy. Nobody should be shut down. They should have their say. The austerity will judge everyone. Nobody should shut. They have the free will. They can call in on this program. They can defend this government all they want. But the truth does not deal with emotions. It does not deal with biases. It does not deal with political affiliation. The truth is the truth. This government has been reckless in its spending. This government has misplaced priorities. Absolutely no reason for us not to have ambassadors. All these things are enumerated. Do you know every year in this country, do you know we buy new vehicles? Nigeria is the only country that calls itself a struggling nation, a financially struggling nation, that buys brand new cars every year for its government officials. Do you understand? Buys brand new Prados, brand new Land Cruiser, brand new Hilux every single year. Every year in this coming year's budget, you will still see Prado, you will see Land Cruiser, you will see Hilux, you will see Honda Accord. Do you understand what I'm saying? We do not know how to manage our meager resources. And the Tinubu's government did not come in to show empathy. It did not come. Look at the governor, the president of Brazil. Look at the president of Brazil, who came in several months after Tinubu might have been sworn in. This man has revived the economy of that country. He refused to buy a new aircraft like Tinubu did. Refused to buy Escalade as president. He's flying commercial. Reduced the size of government. Cut down ministries. What did Tinubu do? He overloaded ministries from 36 or so to 42. This does not show any sign that this president knows how to manage public resources. Ordinarily, I would say manage resources. But when I had public resources, everyone who is listening on the program understands that this is their money. In the next 1 month, a month today, this man wants to implement a new tax policy. All about collecting from people. That is all this government knows about. No accountability, nothing to say, okay, we earned 1 naira as a country. This was how it was spent. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The government is crashing, the economy has crashed already. People don't know. But today is the 1st of December. This president was supposed to have laid the budget for next year on the floor of the National Assembly 3 months ago. 3 months ago. The next year's budget, today, December, we are going to the end of the year. No budget has been presented to the National Assembly. Let me shock you and your listeners too. Do you know that the 2025 budget has not been implemented? Before your call came in, before this call you called me, I was on a call with someone. If you notice, your call was waiting.
Right.
I was on a call from a contractor. They are mobilizing tomorrow for a protest at the Federal Ministry of Finance. The country has shut down. They've mismanaged our resources. Nothing. There's no politics. It affects everyone. Everyone is affected. See how much how much value our money has lost, our currency has lost. Look at the lives of your own citizens. Does this look like a country that has a president that is human, that is thinking, that is oh God.
Right. Okay.
I honestly do not know how anyone wants to defend this government. If Tinubu's government was doing well, if life was better for Nigerians today than it was in the past, anybody would be stupid or foolish to come on air and say, no, it's not working. But we all can see that the country is crashing.
Right.
It's crashing on its head.
Okay, so let's still talk about the ambassadors and what it means for Nigeria. And they could make recommendations and say it is not all of the countries in the world that have ambassadors. There are some countries that may choose because of diplomatic issues to maybe a political turmoil at home to pause it for a while and reset it. But at the moment now that President Tinubu has gone ahead to make the announcement, and we've seen some names, and people could say, yeah, some of these people are not members of the APC. We've seen names like former Governor Wanyi. Can we have that list projected on the screen now? We've also seen names like former Governor of Abia State, right? We've seen former Governor of Abia State who has also made the list, and I'm trying to get the name now. Okay, Zeke Bazo, who's also made the list. And let's talk about those who have made this list, especially the non-career ambassadors. Are you surprised, or is it more to you like a political patronage?
Appointment of ambassadors is fully at the discretion of the president and the commander-in-chief. So that's his decision, that's his business. It's just that his appointment reflects his person. You know, it reflects the kind of person he is and the kind of people he thinks deserve to represent the country. I would say one thing, right? Majority, some of the people, some of the characters on that list should not represent Nigeria. Some of them should not represent Nigeria. Who is a diplomat? You have to be cool-headed. You have to be cerebral. You have to know how to play with words. You need to be, cannot be temperamental. You know, the characters that finish the list that Tinubu submitted, they are just what you see. A diplomat is the official representative of a country appointed to manage international relations, right? And advance in nation's interest abroad, right?
Absolutely,
now,
yeah, go ahead.
We have characters that have abused presidents, abused countries. There is one of them that is against the U.S. president. He called the U.S. president a pedophile. He's attacking Israel every day. See, the president could have given these people appointment at DGs in any commission or agency or ministerial appointment or something. But for you to send characters that have short fuse, characters that are temperamental, who cannot control their emotions, their mood, their feelings, to go and represent us, it's all boils down people who are bigots, openly bigots. You are sending them to go and represent the country. Okay, let's assume now you send someone like Reno Mokri to Poland with everything he has written against the Southeast since he has been on social media. Do you think if any Southeasterner living in Poland has an issue, do you think Reno as ambassador will attend to that person fairly? No. No. Because he already has a bias against an ethnic group. These are not the... See, Nigeria is too blessed for us to end up with some of these characters as ambassadors. There are people within the APC, there are people in the diplomatic circle in Nigeria, in the foreign office that can do better by representing the country and shoring up our global image. Shoring up our global image, which currently is in tatters. Imagine another president calling Nigeria a disgraced country and doubling down, continuing in that rhetoric. Now, you are now helping him to confirm his word as a disgraced country. The president made very terrible choices. Extremely terrible choices. But like I said, the Constitution empowers him to make such decisions on appointment totally at his discretion. What we can do is to point out to him the areas where these things are not working, the areas where they might negatively affect the country, the areas where there could be little improvement on the list. You understand?
Right. So yeah. So there's a tweet that is credited to your Twitter account. I'd like it to be brought to the screen as I actually read that tweet. And now it says appointing Reno Omokri as the ambassador. As an ambassador is an official endorsement of his hate against Igbo people. And there's been controversies. Some persons are like, okay, right. And some persons say Reno tackles issues irrespective of ethnic group, tackles issue, and is not systemic about having, a bias against the people. And some people even talked about how he's had relations and done business with people from that ethnic group. Do you think that maybe it was more, the statement from you was so broad-based and maybe it could not, maybe that is not really the case in Tutu?
My brother, Reno has several digital footprints. And when I mean digital footprints, things online where he has castigated, where he has even tried, he even tried to cause ethnic strife between the North and the Southeast. I remember some friends of mine who actually, no, we're not even friends, I think they're my followers on Twitter, who reached out to me and begged if I could help sign the petition they were doing against Reno, that Reno was going to start a civil war, a tribal war in Nigeria, because it was always posting inflammatory tweets against the Southeast. It was always instigating and trying to provoke one ethnic group against the other. These are not the characters. See, on what basis would any sane person want to appoint Reno Omokri as ambassador? On what basis? On what basis? A man who is not known to be consistent or to be a believer in his own words. Same man who said he would never... See, I do not even want to go... Just type Reno. Look at everything he has done since 2022 till date. And tell me if you, within your own little family circle, will want such a character to represent your family. Talk more of allowing him to go and represent the country elsewhere. I think it's a shameful act, and for me, I think the president needs to review and reconsider that appointment.
Right. So okay. So okay.
Coming to what you said, I stand by my tweet 100%.
Right. Just before I move from that Reno's comment and all of that, some persons are also of the opinion that, yeah, Reno has been a promoter of Nigeria, where's Ashoke, and where's Nigeria's dressing and all of that. But let's talk about former INEC president, the INEC chairman, immediate past INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, whose name is also on the list, and is one of the names that has raised a lot of concerns from some Nigerians and many quarters who say he just finished his tenure as a chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and he was a two-term chairman, was there for 10 years, and he's just been done with his job. Why is he being rewarded with an ambassadorial appointment per se? And some persons say maybe because he did a good job and turned INEC around during his tenure, did some amazing things, and the reward for hard work is more. But what's your view on the former INEC chairman who conducted the elections that brought Bola Ahmed Tinubu into power, into office, now also being designated as one of those that may be confirmed by the Nigerian Senate as an ambassador?
Solidly morbid, I would say shameful. Completely shameful. Absolutely ridiculous. Even the optics alone speak to compromise, speak to shame, speaks to crudeness. It speaks to brazenness. This man just retired last month. Yes, last month. He retired last month. And you are offering a man that presided over an election, a questionable election, that was fought to which result was fought to the Supreme Court. You are already appointing him as an ambassador. I think the issue is that the Tinubu's government lacks critical thinking, or rather, maybe they just don't give a damn about what Nigerians and the public and the international community thinks. Because for all intent and purposes, it speaks to bias, compromise. It speaks to recklessness on the part of the president, that an INEC chairman who just resigned, who just retired a few weeks ago, is being considered. So what you are saying is that you have a relationship with this guy. What you are saying is that beyond this responsibility as INEC chairman, there is a connection between you and him. I mean, the kind of damage that this president is doing to the image of this country is just beyond words. Absolutely beyond words. And so what the president is doing now is signaling the president INEC chairman that if you play ball, you will also get appointment. Why should you even consider an INEC chairman? You didn't even allow him to cool off. Morally, it is wrong. It is disgraceful and it is shameful. But in the Tinubu's government, I don't think the government knows anything about shame. So please, let's just move on and pray that eventually sanity will return to governance in Nigeria. You know, that eventually men that understand what governance means will be able to take leadership one day and truly lead this country as it should. Because what we have here now is just our dakeri. It's just a government of sordid actions and behavior. But we wish them well. We only pray for them. That's all.
All right, so some other names that we have are former governors. So we have and allies of the FCT ministers who these former governors have been very close to the FCT minister and they've stood by him over time. We saw them as the G5 when they were in the PDP, your party at the time. I don't know if you're still a member of the PDP. You confirmed that to us in the course of this interview. They were with Nyesom Wike at the time in 2023, with Seyi Makinde, who eventually broke out of that team. But, two members of the team, talking about the former Enugu governor and the former Abia State governor, in persons, in the name of former Governor Victor Okezie Ikpeazu. His name is also on that particular list. And let's talk about this fact. And Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi from Enugu, this some persons say, yes, they are not APC members, they're still PDP, at least that's what we know. But maybe it's a government of national unity. What do you think?
Is that the new slogan? Government of national unity indeed. I wish them well. The appointment of these men, for me, speaks to only one thing: that Wike, a PDP, a so-called PDP member or an expelled PDP member, still has a strong grip on the government of the APC of Bola Tinubu, Ahmed Tinubu. I think that is what I can say about that, because if Wike is able to bring in that number of his men into the list, it just shows that the guy still has APC by the jugular. Whether it's intimidation, whether it is bribery, whether it is love, whether it is strategy, whatever it is, I think the Tinubu's government has given up most of his space to the current FCT minister. So for Okezie Ikpeazu, I have never had a one-on-one. I've never met him one-on-one, but I know him from afar, and Ugwuanyi too, I know him too. But I am hoping that they will go and represent the country perfectly. I pray that they are able to do so. But anything under Tinubu, honestly, sincerely, I am not. I don't have any faith in the government. Let's just put it that way. Any faith at all in it. Because what does it cost you to make the right appointment? What? In this government now, only 2 ministers are working. Only 2.
Which are?
I may not like him, but Wike and Internal Affairs. Only the 2 of them. Every other person, you don't even you now. I can tell you that you cannot mention up to 10, 15 ministers of Tinubu. Because there have been no power. Most of them don't even have funds to operate their ministries. It's a ridiculous situation. The country has collapsed, but we are still patching and managing and believing that it will go. So for the appointment of Okezie Ikpeazu and Ugwuanyi, who, like you said, if I'm still a member of PDP, well, I'm sure I publicly resigned in 2019. Yeah, I think I publicly resigned in 2019 after the election and the charade that was called an election under the Buhari's administration, and the fact that the party was not ready to live up to expectation. The party was not ready to be an opposition party. They were scared. And me, I don't operate with the Lily-livered people. So I just took my leave from the party. And fortunately now, they are coming back, and I hope they are coming back strong, because I saw what they did in Ibadan. I was in Ibadan to witness that as an observer. And I saw the magic that they performed in Ibadan. So let's hope that the party wakes up. So yes, I resigned my membership of PDP in 2019, and it was publicly done. So no hidden stuff about that. Okay.
So which party are you a member of at the moment?
I am not a member. I don't think it's called. I don't think it is mandatory by the constitution that you must be a member of any party. So for now, I am just Henry Shield, I discuss politics. I'm a businessman. That's all. There's nothing. There's no law that says I must belong to any party. So for now, I'm still watching. But don't worry, I'm not in APC. Okay, don't worry yourself. I'm not in.
All right.
Secretly or openly, I'm not in APC. But if I will go to APC,
yeah, absolutely. Because we are seeing a lot of governors, a lot of people moving into the APC, so it could happen.
They are not moving because they love the country. They are not even moving because they love the president. They are moving because they've seen the hand that the APC dealt with voters in Edo. They've seen what they did in, I think it's Kogi or so, yeah. They've seen how the APC moves when it comes to elections. So most of the governors that are moving are first-time governors who need re-election, and they've seen that these people are not ready to play by the rule. They are not ready to play by the laid down laws or rules. So if you can't beat them, you join them. You can see what's going on in Osun State now. See, the truth is, we are not ready as a people to fight for our democracy. We wake up every day and we just continue to trudge on. We continue to push. We continue to move ahead until it comes to an abrupt stop. What we are doing is patching and patching. It's not working. A situation where INEC, in the middle of a general election that the whole world's attention was focused on Nigeria, INEC decided to switch off the IREV. The brazenness, the audacity of this man. So you see governors moving and people say they are cajoling them with money. It's not money anything. The governors have seen. They got away with what they did in Edo and installed one man in Edo and called him governor. Now, if they don't play ball, they don't join APC, what if they come and take their state from them? And for me, I see a lot of them as cowards. I see them as lily-livered. People without principles, without values, nothing. If you as a governor with immunity, with resources at your disposal, and the federal government is messing up the lives of your citizens, look at how despondent millions of Nigerians are. This Christmas is coming now. A whole lot, but millions of families don't even know how they are going to celebrate. Don't even know what they are going to eat. Like the country is running backward. It's not moving backward, it's running backwards. Yet, these governors who lack the balls, who lack the courage to be leaders, feel the best thing to do is to carry the people's mandate and go and dash the destroyers of destinies. So it is well. We wish them well. Right. And we also wish our ambassadors well too.
All right, so I have two questions for you before I let you go. How does this appointment? Absolutely, just two questions for you before I let you go. How does this appointment of Ambassador show Nigeria's interest in the international space? And remember, there was a time we used to claim to be Africa's giant, or a giant of Africa. Put it both ways. Are we still that big brother where the rest of the African continent look up to for direction?
We are not any giant of anything. We are not even giant of Nigeria, talk less of giant of Africa. How many, if you say, you as a citizen, is Nigeria a giant to you? Is Nigeria taking care of you? Is Nigeria able to make you happy? Is Nigeria making life better for you? We are not even giant of Nigeria. You are saying giant of Africa. We are not giant of anything in any way. See, for me, the basic, the fundamental thing that defines a country as a democracy is the ability of the people to choose its own leaders without interference, without manipulation. The moment that is taken away by the political class, I don't consider that country as big or giant or whatever. Because you cannot keep depriving the people the ability and the right to choose their own leaders by imposing yourself and your cronies and claiming that you're a giant of anything. No, you are not a giant of anything. If anything, you're a giant of destruction, you're a giant of evil. There's nothing giant about. What is giant about is our currency. My daughter was once in Togo. She went for a program in Togo for a while, for some months. And we saw how the Naira was depreciating against their own currency. If you send her money this week, by next week when you're sending another money, they will tell you it has increased. I mean, the Naira was falling so rapidly against the Togolese currency. Togo. I'm not talking of America or South Africa or Dubai or England or anywhere. I'm talking about Togo. These guys have totally destroyed everything here. Completely destroyed everything here. So, if you say we're giant, maybe we're giant in evil, we're giant in bad things, we're giant in corruption, we're giant in intimidating and coercing every institution of governance in Nigeria. That nobody is independent anymore. We are building houses for judges, we are hosting parties for judges, we are paying judges children's school fees, we are taking care of their medical bills, so that any case that comes before them against us, we will win. That's not what a giant does. A giant sets its own priorities right. First, free, fair, and credible elections. 2, democratic governance at its core. Principled governance. Governance that bets dividends of democracy to the people. The lives of people are better. People are not moving from driving V6 to driving 2K. People are not moving from driving a car to driving keke. Today, keke is over 4 million naira under the Tinubu government. Keke is 4.2 million today. Keke that used to be 350,000 a few years ago. So what makes us giant of we stop being delusional and just believe that we are not even ant of Africa. We are just Nigeria, a joke of a country.
All right, so finally, as you go now, is there hope for Nigeria? And are you seeing a new Nigeria emerging?
Well, the only hope for Nigeria will be for many credible political leaders to bury their ambitions and come together to challenge the APC government in the next election. Let me be clear again. The only hope for Nigeria will be for political leaders across the divide. APC, PDP, Labour, ATC, ABGA, NNPP. Political leaders in these political parties need to come together and present to Nigerians, to the voting public, one credible individual, and let the whole country stand behind that individual, and all of them to subsume their ambitions into that ticket. That is the only hope. But if we allow these people to come back in 2027, because Peter wants to run alone, Atiku wants to run alone, GEJ wants to run alone, Kwankwaso wants to run alone. If greed and selfishness and self-centeredness of these leaders allows them to allow Tinubu to win again, it will no longer be because they manipulated the election. It will be because the political leaders are too selfish to see beyond their noses. I hope that they are able to come together for the sake of saving this country. Let's even save Nigeria from APC first. Let's save the country first. Then any other thing can follow.
All right, thank you so much, Henry Shield, for speaking to us. I hope that one of these days we'll have you live in the studio, because the APC people also have a lot to say, and they put out a lot of things. They say the food prices are coming down, that the price of the dollar is stabilizing, and we're falsely, supporting the currency, and they have a lot to say in defense. So I hope that we could also have an in-house conversation one of these days when you have a chance. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry, for taking out time from your busy schedule to speak to us tonight. We really do appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure. Anytime you want me to come to the studio, please just let me know on time so I can plan it, okay?
All right, thank you.
I am a nursing father, so taking this 45 minutes off is actually something or me. So thank you for having me, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. We are grateful. All right, so we've been speaking to Henry Shield as a politician, a former PDP strategist, and now he said he gave up his PDP identity card. He's no longer a member of any political party, but somebody who discusses politics and seeks how to move Nigeria forward. It's all about Nigeria. We are Team Nigeria. We love Nigeria, and we'll do all we can to make sure this country moves forward. All right, so tonight on the program, we looked at Tinubu's announcement of new ambassador designate and what it means for Nigeria going forward. That's the size of our program for tonight. My name is Ubong Musora, and I'm saying bye for now.